g'day. How you going? What do you know? Don't strike a light. G'day, g'day. And how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right.
Now we come to the portion of the service before we do our Bible study that we address some end times news and trends that are happening around the world as it relates to Bible prophecy. As we know, there's quite a few different attacks that went on this particular week. One that just happened the other day in Stockholm. An individual killed 4 people. So this is a regular occurrence in what's happening throughout Europe. And then, of course, the major attack that happened in Syria. And that's where I'm going to focus more of this morning on and what's going on. Again, this sudden strike from Trump on Syria sends a chilling message to North Korea. There's a new sheriff in town. There's a new president. And when a red line's crossed, there's going to be action. It's not going to be just talk and let's try to resolve this by diplomatic efforts, which is not going to work with these type of dictators. North Korea almost certainly felt the geopolitical impact by President Trump, his strike on Thursday. And in response to the brutal chemical attack, where most of this chemical weapon stuff came from Iraq from the early early 2000s, when Saddam Hussein was in power, they got rid of a lot of this chemical stuff and sent it up to Syria. And this was multiple. I mean, there's so many attacks that President Assad did within the people in Syria. So this isn't surprising. There's others that say, well, he didn't do it. It was the rebels that did it as well. So there's a lot of mixed information of what's going on. But when you have other intel that tells you even the pilot and his name and the plane that he flew in from Israel and their specific information, it tells you there's other information that's going on that the mainstream media is not going to tell you. The U.S. military carried out a missile strike on Thursday evening at the Syrian airbase that was housing the aircraft and also where the chemicals were located. And again, this was a violation of international restrictions. Years of previous attempts to change Assad's behavior had failed and had failed very dramatically, as Trump said on Thursday evening, suggesting the new approach is needed. And so the missile strike on Syria demonstrates that President Trump is willing to act when governments and actors cross the line. And so the Secretary of State said it's clear that President Trump made a statement to the world tonight. Because what other countries in the world are actually going to do something about it? They will talk about it, but they won't do anything about it. And again, even as you're seeing the rhetoric that's taken place in North Korea, it sends a strong message toward them and also to Iran. So since Trump has taken office, North Korea has launched 7 missile attacks or tests and multiple high-thrusting rocket engines for possible intercontinental ballistic missiles and preparations, which would be the 6th nuclear test. So it's just a matter of time before they actually start launching it into countries. And so North Korea's aggressive provocation have been much more frequent under Kim Jong-il's once he took power, and under his leadership, the threat to the U.S. and the allies has increased. So this changes the dynamic and the focus of what's going on in the Asia Rim as well. Another report that came out of Breitbart, but there's also many other reports that talk about how there's steps underway to remove Assad from power. There's been talk about it for years, but now there's an international coalition to remove him. So there's pros and cons to this. Again, we've seen how when, say, for example, the U.S. has removed people from power like Saddam Hussein and Omar Gaddafi, we've seen how the effects of that take place. So this would also create another disastrous opportunity, but again, he needs to be removed, but who's going to take over that particular country? But it does create some interesting end times prophecy being unfolded. Assad, according to the Telegraph, says he bears the full responsibility. How the world reacted to Donald Trump's airstrike on Syria. So he, again, targeted a military intervention in Syria had been welcomed in Western-friendly capitals as just and proportionate response to the use of chemical weapons. And again, France and Germany issued a joint statement saying that Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian president, bears full responsibility for the precision strike in which the sea-launched cruise missile to destroy the Syrian airbase. Meanwhile, Donald Tusk, a president of the European Council, welcomed the move and said the EU would work within the U.S. and to end the brutality in Syria. The point of all this is there's going to be more escalation in what's going to take place in that region. The potential for war and the destabilization of the Middle East. The prophetic scripture that's clearly coming up over and over again is Isaiah 17, which talks about the destruction of Damascus. Whether the U.S. ends up destroying it or the other countries come in and destroy it or it's destroyed with them. We don't know how it's going to happen, but we do know it will happen. And it's on the brink of destruction as well. But it will be a heap of ruins, is what the Scripture tells us. We're also seeing more and more of these examples of Psalm 83 and Ezekiel 38 and 39 coming into place. So it's just a matter of time before those really start to attack Israel. And then on a final point, again, in dealing with the Middle East, out of Israel today, Trump reportedly to host a Mid-East Peace Summit. So following his meeting with the president of Egypt on Monday, the Arab media is reporting that Donald Trump is looking to host a Mid-East Peace Summit as early as summer. So there's a few more people in Israel more concerned about this. While Israel and Egypt do share and enjoy a close cooperation under the president there in Egypt, the Egyptian leader reportedly told Trump about the peace between Israel and Arabs should be the basis on the 2002 Peace Arab Initiative. So at that time, the expressed appreciation for the concept of comprehensive peace as opposed to separated peace process with the Palestinians and the rest of the Arab people, was unable to accept in any terms. And like opening the gates to the Jewish state to millions of so-called Palestinian refugees. And again, as we know, what's taken place with these Palestinian refugees is they come in as terrorists. They come in to destroy and kill the Jews and the Israeli people. And this is something that we see every time there's a new administration. There's always a part of this process of wanting to create this peace deal within the Middle East with Israel and Palestine. And I do believe that this is going to be one of those further steps along the way where eventually the Antichrist will come in and make this peace deal. So these are just glimpses of what could happen. Not saying that this is that peace deal, but they're moving closer and closer to making this happen. And so we're seeing so many things happening on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, and so we need to stay alert. We need to stay watchful. We need to be informed on what's going on. Stay in the Word and be busy serving the Lord until He comes back, which is very, very soon. And so it's exciting times. You know, we don't know what this week's going to unfold, but things are speeding up so quickly in these end times. So with that concludes today's update.